Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, fresh from paying his last respects to Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, returned to the headlines, this time not for reflection but for defection, well, so to speak. In a letter dated Monday, July 14th, and addressed to the PDP chairman in his Jeddah Ward 1, Adamawa State, Nigeria's former number 2 man officially resigned from the People's Democratic Party, a party he once helped shape and twice ran on as its presidential flag bearer. He called it heartbreaking, and he said the PDP has lost its way, straying far from the ideals on which it was founded. Well, let's bring in someone who knows better and who has also worked with him very closely, Special Assistant on Public Communication to Atiku Abubakar. We're joined by Frank Shaibu. Mr. Shaibu, thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. Let's begin with the obvious question. Why now? What was the tipping point that made the former vice president walk away from the PDP?
Well, it depends on the noun that is in the context of your question. If it is the noun based on why leaving the PDP at this time, I would want to say that you and I know that the PDP has grossly deviated from the ideals and the reality of the previous opposition party. So the crisis in the party began long before it lost power in 2015 presidential election. But you know that after the loss in 2015, there was a serious agitation calling on Atiku to return to the party with the promise that all the issues that stultify the party will be resolved. Unfortunately, the crisis remained unabated. So it is not about now. The crisis had been there, and some even said that he was the problem. So I think it's best for us that he left at this time, so that maybe the PDP, in the interest of internal democracy, in the interest of democracy, the PDP will find his footing and see if he is the problem. Why not leave, so that we can see if the PDP can resolve its problem.
I hear you, Mr. Shaibu, but this isn't the first exit from the PDP. Critics say that Atiku Abubakar's pattern of switching parties undermines political stability. How do you respond to those who say this move is opportunistic ahead of 2027?
It is preposterous for anybody to contextualize that. Politics is about moving. Politics is about realignment and re-strategizing. So Atiku Abubakar is not the only politician who has switched political parties, who has defected from one political party to the other. In the instance, he has only said that he has withdrawn his membership of the PDP. He has not said, "Oh, I'm joining this party for XYZ reason." That's not the issue. So it is when he says it's not the first time he is switching parties. He is not the first person to switch parties in the context of the Nigerian political lexicography. So he is not the first, and he won't be the last. The important thing is that, look, some persons, particularly using the instrumentality of state power, have been at the forefront of the destabilization of the party. So if he has chosen to exit the party at this time, I don't think anything is wrong with that.
You know that he stands out for the number of times it's run since 1993, about six attempts to, run for president of Nigeria, and we're also following closely his connection with the newly formed coalition party, the ADC. Can you confirm whether Atiku Abubakar will contest again in 2027, or is he now playing the role of a kingmaker?
That is not what you just reported that he was at the third day prayer of President Muhammadu Buhari. It's too early in the day for us to begin to discuss politics or begin to talk about whether he's going to run in 2027 or not. The issue is he has left the PDP for those who believe that he is the problem of the PDP, for them to see that they can enjoy the carcass of what is left of the party. So it is not about running. It shouldn't be about contesting election. Then the other assumption or presumption you made, I'm not sure. I don't know how old you were in 1993, but I'm sure that you should know for sure that in 1993 there was no PDP. He was in the SDP. There was the SDP and the NRC. There were the two major parties at that time, and he was of the SDP. And he did step down for late MQ Abiola at that time. So it is not about whether he has moved from one party to the other. So if SDP at that time went into oblivion and PDP was formed in 1999, and PDP was formed and he became a vice president in 1999, he was elected on that platform. You should know that when you want to count about switching of parties, you don't begin to go back.
I hear you, Mr. Shuaibu, and I hope that you also
elections in 1993.
I hope that you also paid attention to my submission. I don't have to be alive in 1993 to know what happened there. I was talking about this attempt at the presidency, which is now about 6 times, precisely the point I made there. But you talked about the timing. Just a minute, Mr. Shuaibu, because of our time. You talked about the timing. The political conversation is rife. I mean, that's exactly what the coalition is talking about, rescuing the nation and getting a viable alternative for the ruling APC. So the timing, according to the vibe we're getting from the ADC, it's rife. They have started that conversation, and as a matter of fact, it is quite political. The big question has always been, do you think Mr. Atiku Abubakar will be able to step down for the likes of Peter Obi ahead of 2027?
I do not understand. You see, I don't understand this postulation, particularly coming from maybe professional journalists. The question is, what is happening in 2027? And the vibe is not coming from the ADC. The vibe is from the ruling party, who has failed on all ramifications and have abandoned governance for politics. So the vibe is from them. They are the ones who have brought the vibe about politicking for 2027. So let me correct that impression in the first place. And of course, they have to get the response from the ADC, because we cannot operate, allow them to have always wanted to operate with a one-party state, or having only the APC, run the show in 2027. And that is why what brought about the emergence of the ADC. Now, I think it's uncharitable for you to even begin to discuss who will step down for who and who will do what or who will not do what. For us, it's about, if you say that you are aware that the ADC is talking about rescuing Nigeria from the shackles of the maladministration, of the current administration, then by the current administration, then you should understand that it is too early in the day to discuss who is running and who will pick the ticket.
All right. Well, the countdown is on, Mr. Shuaibu. Political stakeholders might choose to shy away from these questions, but we'll eventually get there. And time will tell how these play out in the coming days. But a big thank you to Mr. Philip Shuaibu, who is Special Assistant to Mr. Frank Shuaibu, I beg your pardon, who is Special Assistant to Atiku Abubakar on Public Communication. Thank you so much for talking to us. That's our show today, everyone. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.